They made my mother clap her hands not out of joy, not out of rhythm, but to prove she wasn't stealing. Imagine that. Imagine being so invisible that even your dignity is questioned by the sound of your hands. This isn't just a story about racism, it's about resilience, respect, and the relentless pursuit of dignity. And if you've ever felt the fire of injustice in your chest, then this message is for you. And I couldn't help but think about what she had to go through and what she had to do to be able to be focused, to overcome what she had to overcome, to do that and activate that passion that she had within herself to learn. An article read in the newspaper she had a hunger to learn. My book is entitled You Got to Be Hungry. It's a different space. It's no time to waste time. Life ain't playing with us. This pandemic isn't, and so there's widespread insanity that's going on right now. I don't know where you align with what you want to do in terms of your life and your goals and your dreams, but I say what Dr. Miles Monroe said, live full, die empty, keep social distancing, do the things you need to do to stay alive, listen to the scientists and not people who become internet scientists or Google scientists. Listen to the real scientists and make decisions that will keep you and your family safe. That's what's most important right now, and not just be consumed by the distractions that are going on. Life will always be full of distractions. Dimple said, if it ain't one thing, it's another. I said, if it ain't one thing, it's 12 others. And so during the adversities of where we are and what we are facing, you want to have some things that you're doing that will give you the tools, the mindset, the mental resolve to handle whatever life throws at you. Why? Because whatever life throws at you, you have in you. Greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. You have in you to handle it. You have built-in greatness. You have built-in power, authority, and dominion to handle whatever life throws at you. And life is going to be throwing a lot of stuff. Nobody's going to be spared. That's why Viktor Frankl called it unavoidable suffering. But suffering is a choice. You have a choice because you can suffer, or you can choose to do whatever you need to do to liberate yourself, whatever you need to do to reinvent yourself, whatever you need to do to get the help that you need to overcome whatever you are stuck in right now. It does not have to be your residency, and finding peace make that a priority. People talk about goals and dreams. You know how many people have achieved their goals of earning a lot of money, of becoming celebrities, and they're miserable. Look here, I've lived that life, and it's important to get still and find out, what is it I need to do to find some peace in the midst of all the stuff that's going on, and take care of you. Stuff's happening to people all around you. Take care of you. It makes sense what I said, give to yourself until your cup runneth over, and then give to others from the overflow. This is a time to be selfish. Did he say that? Yes. You can give so much you deplete yourself. I had to learn to give to me. I had to look at my life and all the things that I was looking at, all the things that I allowed to create stress in my life. They did not belong to me. They didn't belong to me. I took them off, and I made a conscious, deliberate, determined effort. I don't want this anymore. No, I'm getting this off me, because life has no duplicate. We're supposed to be happy. We're supposed to live a happy, healthy, prosperous life. And you can't be happy, and you can't live a prosperous and successful life if you allow yourself to be burdened with other people's things. Give to yourself until your cup runneth over, and then give to others from the overflow. And I had to learn to do that. I had to look, because sometimes you can be so busy taking care of other people's business and you realize, wait a minute, this is not my stuff. Why did I take this on? And let me serve notice to you. The people that have been using you, they're going to get angry, because they want you to be distracted and do what they want you to do and do the work that they're supposed to be doing. See, here's what I know. When people get sick and tired of being sick and tired, they'll do something about their situation. That's what I know. During even this place where we're at, just imagine it makes a powerful statement about what's going on right now. I West had a stadium 20,000 people paid for a listening party during the pandemic. People showed up crowded, some with masks, some without masks, to listen. Woo, let me tell you something. If we had an announcement that said, if you have goals and dreams, we're going to have an event, and all it will cost you is $97 or $100, same money you gave for him to walk across the stage with a stocking cap over his face to listen to music. Now you can listen to something that can change your life. The same group of people, would they show up? No. In 7 different languages. No, 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 no. Jesus said, all power is in my hands. Oh, by the way, the poor will always be among you. Well, remember what Reverend Ike said. The best thing you can do for poor people is not be one of them. And sometimes we get so caught up emotionally, and what I realize, and what's important, is you can't help people who won't help themselves. Because your help will be temporary. Everything that you do must be sustained. That's why Frederick Douglass said, now I understand what he meant, why help a man stand to his feet if he doesn't have enough gumption to lock his knees. If he does not have the consciousness and responsibility to lock his knees when you let him go, his head is going to hit the pavement. I can't tell you the number of people I got jobs when I was a state legislator, and they lost the job. They got paid on Friday and wouldn't show up on Monday. Have you ever helped somebody and they did nothing with it? Did absolutely nothing with it? I mean, I guess I'm a slow, excuse me. I'm overcoming being a slow learner. I have one of my granddaughters. I poured into her, and all that I did she said thank you. Did she say thank you? I don't remember, but let's say, give her the benefit of the doubt. Thank you, Grandpa. Place I took her out of, she went right back. The school that I paid for, the degree that I helped her to get, not even using it, doing something else. All that time, all that energy, all that work that I put in. Look, I'm 77. They should be giving to me. See, your children should do more than what you've done. I did more than what my Brown did, or Dorothy Bell, my birth mother. Your children are to earn more money than you, because they stand on your shoulders. And what you have done with your life, and what they do with their lives, they should go further. That has not happened in this generation. One of my kids told me, I asked him for some ideas. Oh, I'm not going to give you no ideas because you don't listen to your children. Duh. I don't listen to broke people. Look here, no. Are you kidding me? You need to be listening to me. Oh, you need to be listening to me. And one of my kids said, oh, you act like a kid. Oh, you son. No, no, no. I'm just exploring how we can do some things together. Okay, that's fine. I am so glad that I have my health, that I'm in my right mind, that I'm taking responsibility to stay in good health, so I'm not depending on somebody to wipe my behind. I may be in good shape. So if they start having some flashback, you remember when you beat me for nothing. Excuse me, well, I told you I didn't do that. And they start looking at me crazy, and I'm laid up somewhere and can't get up and run, I said, you know what I thought about it? Somebody asked, when you get older, who's going to wipe your behind? You want to push back that time. You want to take care of yourself. I got up. I started doing some yoga and qigong, and I've been doing all kinds of exercises up in here. Because my goal is not to be a burden to anybody. We can't help getting older, but we don't have to get old. Life ain't playing with us. Oh man, time is not playing. I was going up the steps, and I heard this click in my right knee. I said, "Oh my goodness, what is that?" That knee said, "I'm 77. That's what that is, I'm 77. When you get 77, I begin to crack. Oh my goodness, so take your time, buddy. I ain't playing with you. And ladies and gentlemen, some of you can hear me? The majority don't even want to hear it going someplace else. Good. Let me share something with you. Take life seriously. Life has no duplicate. Decide as you look at your life, as you determine, what is it that the next greatest version of myself, what does that look like? What is it I need to do? We have an expiration date. We can push it behind us if we want to. We can push it out of our minds and think we have forever to deal with other stuff and say to old man time, "Hey, listen, wait, just a minute. Les Brown's got some stuff he's dealing with his children or his grandchildren or his baby mama drama and all kinds of other stuff. Just wait just a minute, and then we'll start the clock again. No, you got to be present in mind. You have to monitor and manage the priorities in your life. Guess what number one is? Your state of mind, having peace of mind. Having your health. If you don't have your health, you can do nothing. It's cute to say, oh, your health is your wealth. Absolutely, but we run past that, having the discipline, having a routine, having a strategy that says, I want to be here. See, one of the goals I have, that I wake up every day to get off the medication they put me on. The cancer centers of America at no time have any of these doctors I've seen, whether it's at Cleveland Clinic or Cancer Centers of America, anywhere I've been said, look here, here's a strategy. These are the pills that we prescribe for you, but here's a strategy that can help you get off these pills. Has anybody told you how to get off the pills, Les? No. Are you upset about that? No. Why? Because I know the pills pay the bills. This is a partnership, and I'm the lead partner. And I do my research, and I'm going to do what I need to do. In spite of them injecting me with steroids, this is not my destiny. No, I'm getting off this. I'm losing this weight. I'm reversing this type 2 diabetes. I'm going to fight so I'm not popping pills all night. And I asked them questions, is this addictive? Oh yes, oh don't give me that. Guess what they did? They put it in prescription. So when I went to Walgreens, I asked the question, here's what I'm here for. And I asked them, that particular pill that you just mentioned, is it addictive? They said yes. I don't want that. You can keep that. Give me the other ones. Look at those. Are any of those addictive? No. Fantastic. Yeah. I'm Marcus Welby. I'm playing doctor myself. I know what it is to be addicted to pills. Oh, first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. I ain't playing with you. Life ain't playing with us. You have something special. You have greatness in you. I know that with everything in me. When I was sitting on the porch in Gainesville, Georgia, at the house that my mother built with a saw and a hammer, and I look at the work that she has done, that I'm here because of God's grace and mercy. Until you get it, you're no wimp, you're no punk, no, you made in the likeness and image of God. You've been given authority and dominion over everything on the face of the earth. You have built-in power at any moment to take your life in a different direction. All of us have defining moments. I remember when I was fired from radio, I thought that was all that I could do. I was good at that. That was all that I worked on. I had more in me. Helen Keller said, when one door closes, another door opens. But most of us spend so much time being depressed, being angry about the closed door, we don't see the open door. If you've lost a job, you haven't lost a job. If a job has been removed from your life, guess why? They had to make room for you to become an entrepreneur, for you to learn how to sit in front of a computer and learn something now that you don't know. You now have to live your life in such a way that you want to learn something today that you didn't know yesterday. If you're not willing to learn, nobody can help you. But if you're willing to learn, you can help yourself. No one can stop you. People are doing it every day, making money left and right. More millionaires are being created during the pandemic and after the pandemic. The money has not left the planet. Just the people who are hungry. People that are hungry are focused. People who are hungry are looking for ways to win in spite of the adversities. People that are hungry refuse to give up. People that are hungry operate under the philosophy, if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up, got comeback power. As Willie Jolly would say, I ain't playing with you, I'm coming for you, because our children are watching us. They're watching us, and many of them are not looking at good role models. That's why the suicide rate among young girls 12 to 17 has increased 51%. Are you kidding me? People dying to get here, and people living here committing suicide. Come on now. People get here can't speak the language, have a 3 to 4 times greater chance of buying a home and having their own business than people who have been here. People who can't speak the language have a 4 times greater chance of owning their own home and creating their own business. There's something wrong with that. Why? Because we've gotten comfortable. That's why Brian Tracy said, your comfort zone is your danger zone. They don't come here to watch Netflix or any other kind of flick or a listening party. No, they're hungry, and you must be hungry too, for a better life. You must be hungry too to say, no, this is not going to get the best of me. Sometimes in life you have to put your foot down where you say no. When I heard the rats in the house where I moved my mother out of, and they were playing bid whist and talking to each other, then they talking about, you know what, I'm so glad Mamie back, I don't know what to do. I'll be glad when she bake one of those sweet potato pies. I'm listening to them. Are they talking about my mama, boy that made me? She can bake a sweet potato pie, I'm telling you. She talking about my mama, the rats in the wall, and they have imported roaches in Miami from Atlanta. Roaches so big they fly like pigeons and eagles, and roaches where you spray them and they snatch the black flag out of your hand and start spraying you. But here's the kicker. I saw a roach the other day. I got some black flag and started spraying him, and guess what he did? He snatched it out of my hand, but he also had something else in the other hand. I'm looking. It was some Lysol. He sprayed me with the Lysol before he sprayed me with the black flag. He didn't want me to infect him with the virus. That ain't right. Laughter music, oh my God, oh my God. They talk about a shortage of chicken wings. Why can't we have a shortage of flying roaches? Here they talk about a shortage of chickens. Are you kidding me? Music, let me. I'm medication wearing off. Let me leave this with you. You're listening to me because you and I are cut from the same cloth. We're branches of the same music tree. You have something special. You have greatness in you. God had a lot of choices. You and I, we were created out of 400 million spirit. We were chosen. God had a lot of choices for us to be here at this point in time. We were made for this point in time in history. A reckoning is going on. All hands on deck. Evil prevails when good men and women do nothing. All hands on deck. There are three kinds of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who don't know what happened. You are here to make things happen. Life is God's gift to us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. What gift are you music creating? What are you doing? We need you. We need you to be, as Sandra Brown would say from Trust Up, we need you to be visible. We need you to be vocal. We need you to be engaged in this thing called life. Our children need you. Our children's children need you. A good man and woman leaves a legacy for their children and their children's children. But we don't want to just leave a legacy. A legacy is how you will be remembered. We want to build a dynasty. As my son John Leslie would say, a dynasty is something that as you build it, you won't be music forgotten.
Well?
As to say, if you can feel me, if you know what I'm talking about, then you realize that this is a different space, and that if we're going to make it in and out of the pandemic, we must bring a different kind of energy, a different kind of commitment and passion and drive to life that we can be proud of. Life is God's gift to us, and how we live our lives is our gift to God. Yeah, this thing called life. What a mighty God we serve. Angels stand before him. Heaven and earth adore him. What a mighty God we serve. I hope you've enjoyed what I've music shared as I was rocking in a rocking chair on this porch in this music house that my mother built. I bet she never thought about one day a son that she had in Miami, Florida, with his twin brother, would find his way to Gainesville, Georgia. And he will sit on this bench with the brother that he did not know he had, George Music Rucker, as he listened to stories about me from his brother that he did not know he music had, and he would be moved and inspired by the work that I did. When he walked through the house and saw the newspaper clippings about my accomplishments, he found me, and my mother, his grandmother. Look at God. Let me share something with you. Don't give up. There's a reason that Paul said, pray unceasingly. Don't give up. The prayers will fortify you. Don't give up. Keep moving. Don't give up. Do as Mary McLeod Bethune would say, pray as if everything depends upon God, but work as if everything depends upon you. There's a destiny in you. There's a greater calling in you. There's a work for you to do. That's why you were chosen for this time in history. History is being read, but it's also being written by people like you. That's why you're listening to me. I guarantee you nobody who went to a listening party is listening to me. I'm an old fuddy, duddy. Old Uncle Tom ain't listening to me, no, but you are, because you and I are cut from the same cloth. You are because we're branches of the same tree. You are because what's in me is in you. Les Brown is in the house, the school of greatness, my friend, who has been around for 75 years young. You told me just before we got on here, you've been fighting cancer for 27 years. You've been widely known as one of the most inspirational motivational speakers in the world, helping Fortune 500 companies to small business owners to everyone in between really tap into their greatness. You're an inspiration to myself and so many people. And you've got a book called You've Got to Be Hungry. That's out right now. That is doing incredibly well and is 20 years in the making. I'm curious. We've been talking just before this, which we'll add in the interview, about racial injustice, which you've been a big proponent of speaking out against for many years. And your time working in Ohio in government, and your time working in radio as a speaker, all these different areas of your life. But you've just been through a lot personally, challenges in your life. We have a similar story of growing up dyslexic, with learning disabilities, with challenges in school. I remember the story you shared in our last interview in 2017 about teachers calling you dumb and things like this. I feel very connected to that story because of my experiences in school. And yet you've overcome so many challenges in your 75 young years. Can you share the biggest challenge you've had to overcome? The biggest challenge I had to overcome, and it's a continuous challenge, is allowing myself to see myself beyond my circumstances and mental conditioning, to live out of my imagination rather than my history. When you are raised in a culture that constantly demeans you, marginalizes you, and stifles your potential to move forward. I remember reading a quote by a guy named Richard Wright, who said, "The impulse to dream has been slowly beaten out of me through the experiences of life." So just imagine in 1963 when I graduated from high school. Now that's a long time ago. My grandson said, "Grandpa, how old are you?" And I said, 775. He said, "You are old." In 1963, here's what the statistics were. If you're an African American, you're the last hired and the first fired. If you're African American, a white college trained black person has less of a chance of getting a job than a white high school dropout. That's in 1963, according to the Federal Reserve that still exists. So just imagine when an African American graduates from college and is in debt, a white high school dropout today will earn more money, 3 times more, than that black college graduate, 3 times more. Why? Because of his paint job. I'll never forget Lewis. I saw an interview with Larry King and a white supremacist. He said, "Tell me, why do you hate black people?" He said, "Because they're black." And he said, "And I'm white." So Larry said, "What did you have to do with that?" And the guy said, "What?" He said, "What did you have to do with your being born white?" And he didn't have an answer. He just got quiet. And Larry, in that question, that strategic question, it created an aha moment. Hopefully, for that young man, I saw this video yesterday. This lady said, "I've got grandchildren. I hate y'all, and I'm teaching my grandchildren to hate you too." Wow, yes, and I'll never forget when I was on a bus coming back from Miami Beach with my mother. They had signs on Miami Beach that said, "Jews, dogs, and coloreds not allowed." And I asked my mother, I said, "Mama, why do they hate us so much?" And she said, "Leslie, I don't know, but don't you ever be like them. Don't you ever be like them. God is love, and he who dwelleth in love dwelleth in God. And God." My Brown's baby boy, and I was determined that I was going to create a world that my mother could live in and not be humiliated and not be held back. A better life than she had lived in Stuart, Florida. And what I experienced coming up in Miami, being African American, so many things were just a part of the culture, things that exist now, but to believe and understand that it's going on now is surprising. But what is heartwarming is the broad-scale support. Something Benjamin Franklin said, "Change will never come until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are." Wow! And so you have white people who are unaffected by this, but they're outraged. They're saying, "Hey, this is not right." And they're putting themselves in harm's way. I saw one white lady. They shot her with rubber bullets, and she's permanently blind in one eye. There have been places where the white turnout and other groups very strong. People out of a sense of humanity saying, "This is not America." And it's been sustained because the people can see it. To see George Floyd have his life taken away, the guy who did that, one of the guys who was right there near him, where he could have said to the cop that was on George Floyd, "Come on, man, come on." He's saying he can't breathe. Come on, it's 4 of us. He's handcuffed. He can't get away from us. Come on, get your knee off his neck. He didn't do this. So this lady saw one of the guys in the grocery store who was charged with complicity, And she said, "Do you have any regrets?" He said, "No." Wow. No. So therefore, he felt it was okay to take this guy's life for a $20 counterfeit bill that they found not to be counterfeit. To lose your life and someone asks you, "Do you have any regrets?" and you say no. Man, let me tell you something, that's heavy. That says a lot. Do you feel like we haven't really progressed that much at all, or is there progress? No, I think there's been great progress. There's no question about that. No question. You just have people who, for the first time under this leadership that we have, feel comfortable coming out. So there are people that this level of hatred has been instilled in and passed on generation after generation. What makes it seem so pervasive and so dominant has been the exposure. It's never been exposed like this. The internet? That's why North Korea and various dictatorships don't allow media to expose things, the inequities and unlawful behavior in their country, including our country. Had it not been for the internet, we would not know about this. Because the television executives had a meeting after the Rodney King riots and said, "When something like this happens again, we will not show it. We will just report it." But the internet, because of the telephones, now these cops who've been getting away with murder, they can't just get away with it. Although even when they go to court, 9% get off, never go to court. And of those who are indicted, maybe around 2% are sentenced and found guilty because the judge and the prosecuting attorney are on the side of that officer. So they can always make a case, I guess, for, well, he was attacking me. And this is in the law about how we can defend ourselves as police, right? When they asked the cops, "Why did you beat this guy?" I said, "This man served our country in Vietnam. He should not be treated like that. He was holding a baby." And they said he was fighting with one hand. Come on, when I was on the air. And this is in the 80s. I editorialized against police brutality and deadly use of force. They said he had a threatening stance, so I shot him. One guy I'll never forget. He was in a car, and police approached the car, and they shot him 5 times. And they said he held his hand up, even though they didn't see a gun. But he moved his finger, and they thought he had a gun. And so they killed him, and they got off with it. So they come up with any type of flimsy excuse. I thought my life was in danger. Like the guy here in Atlanta was shot 5 times in the back, and they said they thought he was going to turn around and shoot with a taser. The truth of the matter is that cop was mad because his taser was taken away from him. So he pumped 5 bullets, and they said, "No, no, no, there will not be a trial here. This is taking place now." And so that level of madness and lack of value for human life, it's deep in the culture. How did you personally overcome so much from racism as a young child, when your mother essentially had to beat the crap out of you in order to defend you from the police beating you up even more? From not being able to sit anywhere on the bus that you wanted, to just having the challenges in school and your career. How did you personally learn the skills to overcome so many challenges in the world, in your internal mind, in life? You know, the title of the book, You've Got to Be Hungry, the greatness within to wing. Greatness comes out of adversity. The defining moment for me was when my mother was working for a lady named Miss Harris. I was responsible for cleaning some spots off the floor. My mother was called by Miss Harris. She said, "MYA, I want you to go in another room and find a hat that I'm looking for, the one I had 3 Sundays ago." And when my mother went in that room, I heard a slapping sound. I heard my mother clapping her hands, and I said, "Mama, I was curious, why are you clapping your hands?" She said, "Don't you worry, Leslie. You just keep on doing what you're doing and get those spots up off the floor." Then she came out of the room and she said, "Miss Harris, I don't see it in there." So she said, "Well, go in this other room." And Mama went in the other room, and sure enough, she started clapping her hands again. "I said, Mama," she said. "What?" She was aggravated now. I said, "Why are you clapping your hands?" She said, "Didn't I tell you to do what you're supposed to do?" At that moment Miss Harris came over and stood over me. She said, "I can tell you why she's clapping her hands." And I stood up and looked her in the eyes. Now, during this time as a black person, you were not allowed to look white people in the eyes. You should always look down, or you could be arrested or beaten. So I looked her in the eyes, and she said, "The reason that I have your mother clapping her hands, when I have colored people working for me and I can't see them when they go in another room, I make them clap their hands to make sure they're not stealing." Oh my goodness. I said, "Ma'am, Miss Harris, let me tell you something. My mother does not steal. When she talks about you and your family, she says, 'I work for Miss Harris.' And she talks about your children and knows all their names and birthdays. My mother is an honest person. She'll never steal from you or anybody." She was so shocked. She just looked at me and turned and walked out of the room. When I got back down on that floor, Louis, and started scrubbing that floor, I said, "Nobody will ever make my mother clap her hands again because they think that she's stealing." I remember going back on the bus and I was quiet. She said, "Leslie, why are you so quiet?" I said, "Because I'm not a man. I want to be a man." She said, "You'll be a man soon enough. You're 10 years old." "How long before I become a man?" 8 years. "I want to become a man now." She said, "Why?" I said, "If I was a man now, Mama, I could buy groceries for us, and we wouldn't have to wait until the people you work for eat and then give us leftovers. If I was a man now, I would not have to wait until somebody's worn clothes for a year and we wear their hand-me-down clothes. And if I was man now, nobody will ever make you clap your hands because they think you're stealing." She said, "Miss Harris told you that, didn't she?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. That's why I want to be a man now." And she just got quiet. She said, "Leslie, don't worry about it. Just be a good boy, be a good boy." And I said, "I will, Mama. I'm going to take care of you. You'll never have to work again when I turn 18. When I turned 18, I took care of my mother until she passed at 89. She never paid another bill. I worked. Yeah, that tilted the scales, that experience, that moment. Yes, that made her. She was such a wonderful person, only had a third-grade education, and I always say I'm on programs because of 2 women. One gave me life, the other one gave me love. God took me out of my biological mother's womb and placed me in the heart of my adopted mother. She was quite a woman. Yes, she was. I'm a mama's boy, as you can detect. I was just a boy when I promised my mother she'd never have to work again, and I kept that promise not just with money, but with purpose, with every speech, every stage, every voice I ignite. I'm still scrubbing that floor, still standing tall, and still fighting to make sure no mother has clap her hands to prove her worth, because greatness isn't just built from dreams, it's born from pain, shaped by fire and fueled by love. And if I could rise from that, so can you, not in spite of your struggle, but because of it. Stay hungry, stay human, and never let the world tell you what your worth sounds like.